Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome to Caring for the Caregivers. I am Donna Davis.
And I'm her partner, Norma Anderson.
And together we are Andervis.
Yes.
And we are practitioners at the Center for Spiritual Living, Ocala. And while we have a wellness company here in Ocala called Your Phoenix is Rising, and is where we take the stuff that has burnt you in the past to be the very thing that propels you into your greater yet to be. And that's what we do. And the aspect that we're working on right now is caring for caregivers, because I am a registered nurse. I've been on the floor. I see that our caregivers are in pain. And I decided that I need to do something about it and share what I am doing for myself as a nurse. And you are?
I'm a massage therapist, and I started kind of working on nurses, techs, and doctors in the hospital and realized they are the hardest on their body than some construction workers even, because they go, and, not just the physical stress that they put themselves under, but the mental. So they really need the full mind, body, and spirit connection.
Yeah. And together we cared for our elder mom and siblings. She had sisters and brothers that had health challenges that she had to step up as the youngest of
14.
14
Well, that's
children.
just on my mom's side, 5 more on my dad's side. So
it was a very big
There's a
family,
lot of
and we
older
have been
siblings.
caregivers in multiple ways. Plus, we're both moms.
True.
We helped raise children. We did it together. And this is why we feel that there's so many people out there who are giving up their energy to others, who are just giving themselves sometimes to the very, well, there's nothing left. And we are aware that sometimes there's no choice and you have to show up. You're taking care of somebody vulnerable. You have to show up. There's no choice. It could be life or death. In our case at the hospital, it could be life or death. Then what do you do to replenish you while you're there in the moment doing that caring? What do you do to replenish you when you get home after you're done the caring?
Because so many people that are in the caregiving roles don't even know that that's what they're doing. But majority of Americans, people in general, not just Americans, are caregivers for somebody.
We're taking care of somebody. Sometimes they have four legs, fur babies. You're caring for them too. What can you do to replenish yourself when you're in the middle of it, especially when I'm talking to those people who are doing the hands-on bedside, changing diapers, getting puked on care? Those people, and your energy is being pulled on. What are you doing as a teacher standing in front of children who are pulling on your energy? We are giving you these tools that have worked for us and that we have shared with others and have said, have you tried this? And it has been helpful. I figured put them all in your tool belt, pull them out at different times, try them in the laboratory of your life, and see if it helps.
But some of the tools that we give you are for the use of, in the moment, right when you're going through whatever the trial, tribulation, challenge, or whatever you may be going through. Others are maybe things that can refresh or recenter you later once you've been through it and now have a moment to, go back over your day and see what has happened, how to change it, how to fix it, and how to not make it happen again, or, things that reset you.
Correct. So usually we'd start out the show with a centering moment, but this time we decided to start talking about why we're doing this show in the first place, just to remind people of why it's here. If you come on live while we're doing the show, then great. If you watch it later, that's okay too. And it is our plan to put it all together at the very end and say, here you go. Here is a package of things that you can do on a weekly basis, one at a time, all at once. Throw whatever you can at it to help alleviate the pain. so that you can show up for those who need you.
And some great news. We've had some feedback already about how some of the tips that we've shared have
Very
actually
helpful.
helped people that have found themselves in situations. Let me try this, or let me try, and they said,
And it's
"Yeah,
been
you're
helpful.
right. It works."
Correct. So today's aspect of self-care for caregivers, those of us who give of ourselves for others, is visualization, which is very different from visioning, which those of us in Science of Mind and New Thought know about visioning. Visualization is something that most people know about as well. I think
It's
a
a
lot
little
of
bit more
people kind of
controlled
not
than
than visioning.
Visioning, yes.
So visualization simply is being able to imagine in your mind the outcome you desire and to use that tool while in the midst of a moment that might be particularly challenging in the job that you're in, when your feet are hurting, when, when your back is starting to hurt. Visualization.
Yes.
And we're going to share that today. And that's going to be the beginning of the centering moment. I'm going to share my story where I used this at the very beginning of COVID, when the news broke that we were having this pandemic. Norma and I took off with bravery to New York, and I found myself at Elmhurst, Queens, New York, in the thick of it, at the epicenter of the epicenter, on the very floor that the news broke that we lost all those patients, and the refrigerated trucks outside, and all of that stuff was going on. To use a tool like this while in a moment such as that, I found a song that worked for me, that got me out of that headspace to see something bigger. And I'm gonna ask Diego to play it, but for this centering moment, I want you to imagine the nurses and techs and the doctors and everyone showing up and rising together, coming together from all around the world to this center, showing up to completely flatten that curve. And together we rose.
Close my eyes, I open my heart. I'll take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in. I feel the beat that's calling us to rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. I let in my soul, I clear my mind. I'm here and now, in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighting up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, I sing to you, you sing to me, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, spirit rise up,
I remember sharing this song with the other people I was there with. And there was so much pain and so much fear around COVID, and none of us knew what we were walking into. And as I was showing them the song, I said, we're making these connections heart to heart, hand to hand. No turning back now because we're already stuck there. We can't turn back. We weren't allowed to get back from New York onto a plane to go back to wherever because now we were in the yuck. And now we feel the power of the thousand suns. This part is what got them.
Beautiful.
We rise this lucky.
And it was something you guys had to do together. There was no, this is my patient, that's your patient. It was a together.
It was a chasing of the breath, chasing of the person, coding after code after code. It was an incredible experience. And this part here, Love's Calling, that's why we came.
Definitely. Because there were so many people that could have come, but just could not bring themselves to do it. If you guys rose to the occasion.
Thank you so much, Diego. The song, the reason it connects to the visualization, and that's why I use it as a centering moment for me, was just listening to the words of the song and listening to the vision that comes forward as you see all these nurses descending. Everybody's afraid, everybody's coming, everybody's saying, okay, we're not sure. We're not sure what we're doing, but we all showed up. And that's what my mind kept looking at. When I was in the middle of it, I kept seeing it like Florence Nightingales, thousands of Florence Nightingales coming in and lifting this thing that was potentially going to desecrate our country. And we didn't know what was going on.
Had no clue.
But
you came together and rose as one.
Seeing us do that and me planting that same vision in other people's minds and the other nurses that were sharing that with other nurses. That's what I said to nurses when they were feeling really, really scared. I said, see us together. You are not alone. It is all of us together rising.
Yes.
And that's the power of visualization. When you can paint that picture so clearly that even when you're in the muck, it pulls you out of it into observer space.
Definitely. And you wouldn't believe the number of nurses that said to me during massage or, just after it or whatever, the power of your talks with them every morning and the encouragement that you gave kept them there and enabled them to get through the muck that you guys were enduring. So, sometimes you didn't even know the ones that you were touching, but
And I'm gonna tell you guys, there were nurses who didn't want me to get up there and say nothing and try to do whatever. Just be quiet. Let's just go do the job and get this money and be all right. And that's also reality, because it takes all kinds to do this kind of work. And yes, this modality may work for one person. They want the pep talk. They want somebody to say something to them, and others they want to internally process. And for them, that's important.
Like you say, everybody's different. How they process information and situations.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So thank you. That was my story and how I use visualization.
Well, the most powerful instance for me, because I got to say, I use it all the time. But there was a point, and it was for you too. It was a co-stressing moment. We were living in this house on a farm that was beautiful. It was an active farm. We were still, training horses and doing the daily routines of whatever horse people do. And it was a visualization of how we got that place too, though. that was our daughter. She wanted horses and whatever, but that was her visualization session because that was no vision of mine. Well, anyway, we were there in this beautiful setting, and little did we know that the place was in foreclosure when we rented it, and we'd been there about 1.5 years, but we did know that the gentleman was going through a divorce.
Right.
But we'd been there about a year and a half, and then he just started tearing down fences, breaking up barns, doing what have you. And I'm like, I don't think we want to stay here with all this going on. But we didn't really pay much attention to it because, he didn't say you got to get out or anything like that. But then about 2 weeks later, we got a visit from the sheriff
Oh yeah.
that said, 24-hour notice, basically, you got to get
The
out.
realness. Yeah.
And, so we were like, now.
We contacted the bank and said, hey, listen, we're renters. We
didn't
don't know nothing about this thing.
This man
What's
was
going on?
actively
Is there
working
some
his place.
protection?
He got his own mail. We didn't have any notice.
And they were like, so sorry for you. Horrible, horrible thing. But here you go. 24 hours. We're coming to change the lock. What did they say?
Said tomorrow we're coming to change the locks.
No, actually, they did not say that.
What did they say?
They said
they left a note on the door.
Yes.
That said
And then when I
24
called
hours.
the bank, and then they said, well, I think that there's nothing we can do. I will try to push it a week if I can because of paperwork. And I said, okay, 1 week. And then I mobilized all our friends and said, listen, we need to get a
4-bedroom, 2-bath.
Put
house.
Everything, just throw it in a truck and we'll take
out.
it to a storage unit.
And yes.
And that's where we were because there was nothing we could do. And that's when the next morning the sheriff arrived at the door, the locksmith to change
saying,
the
get
locks.
your animals and your whatever you can grab and get out because we're locking the place up.
Yeah.
So
and the reality was so there.
It was glaring us in the face, and it
we
was
were
like,
in it.
you know,
we were in it.
So what do? Stay in a hotel? We were just at wit's end. That's what to do. So other than doing our prayer work, we started scrounging. Okay, we need to find a place, and instead of settling for something that did not serve us,
yes, because we found a house, and we were like, okay, let's go to this house, but we would have had to get rid of a lot of our stuff. Minimize. It was not going to be. It was going to be very jarring on the children, and we said, no, that's not going to work. And then Norma looks at me and she said, we have this awesome tool.
Yes. And so, when you have these tools in your backpack per se, they're there, but when you're in the stressor, you don't necessarily call them to mind to use them in the moment. So hopefully you'll always have somebody there to bring you back down to, okay, your spiritual practice. What is it that will help you in this situation? Mm-hmm. And at that time, visualization was number one on our list.
Yeah, because it started with the spark, and we said, okay, what is it that we really want?
Yes.
Because we're going to talk about spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer in one of these talks, simply because it's one of our tools that we use in Science of Mind and in New Thought, and I would love to share that with you guys. But before I even got there, I said, well, what exactly is it that we're going to pray for? Because you have to get very clear about what it is you want, or you'll get a whole bunch of stuff that you do not want. And because that's where your energy has been going. And I thought, yes. Law of attraction, those of you who know about that and study that, law of attraction, what you think about is what you pull to you like a magnet.
Yes.
So then Norma was like, let's talk about what this house looks like. And we started going down a list.
And not just what it looks like, the feeling that you want to have when you're in this place.
While we were in these people are here to change the love.
Yes.
I was like, are you crazy? My fight or flight was really kicked in. I'm not gonna lie. It was really kicked in. And I reached out to one of our dear friends, Reverend Peggy, who is a wonderful, wonderful soul. If you ever get a chance to be in her presence, you are blessed. And she said to me, Donna, and this is somebody who I experience depression and anxiety from time to time. It's, part of my diagnosis. And I said, oh boy, I could feel the rabbit hole was coming.
Yes.
That sucks me in. And then I get into the, oh my God, and then I'm crying and now I'm shaking and I'm in a situation. And Reverend Peggy said, I want you to say this. Take a deep breath in and say, it'll be interesting to see how Spirit works this out.
Yes.
And then I started to say, it'll be interesting to see how Spirit works this out. And then I could start to visualize how Spirit would work it out. And I started looking for it and looking for it and looking for it. It was just incredible.
Right. Like Diego says, if there's no emotion in your visualization, you're just making
Just
an
making an
announcement. You know, because that's the power behind the thought, the power behind the vision. You know, because we knew that we knew kind of what we wanted.
Yeah, like you know what you don't want because
Yes.
you'll be in it and be like, "Ooh, I don't like this."
But you cannot focus on what
But
you
it's
don't
like
want.
we have this big issue with writing down what we do want, or we pick what we think we should want, and that's a big one for me. Like because you see bro man over there that has it, you think, "Oh, that's what I should want," and then media and
And
all
that's
of
when
that
people tend to
feeds you this
settle
stuff
for
for smaller than they could possibly have.
yes.
Because this is all I could want. And so you're told this through your generation, you're told it through your race, you're told it through everything. This is what you should want.
But you know, if you don't know what you want, it's hard for somebody to give it to you.
And I'm telling you, ugh, you know, the more that you start to paint that's I feel is like the activation of the law of attraction. Getting yourself really very deeply into that and just getting really settled into what would it feel like if this was going on around me right now. That's the easiest way I find to get into the flow, divine chill. Yeah.
Because
What would
actually,
it
that was
feel
one of the
like?
that was the biggest thing when I said, okay, what is it when you see the place that you come home to every day after work? What is the feeling that comes to you? And what did you say?
I want to feel like a queen. And when we
Yes.
first moved into that house,
You first went into it, so we had
first went
moved.
into it. Yes, I walked in and I thought, I felt like a queen. There was crowned molding. There was this huge chandelier in the front. There was this feeling of opulence, and I thought I had never experienced that in a home before for myself. And I thought, this is it. And the house said, I'm yours. Even though everything in the entire world would have said, no, that shouldn't happen.
All of the circumstances said that that was not our house, not going to be our house.
And we did, once we got clear, oh, this is what we want. Spiritual mind treatment, we hit it next with the spiritual mind treatment. Bam yow, and solidified it in divine mind, planted the seed, and then walked away and said it'll be interesting to see how spirit works this out. But you still got to do the work. We still had to pack up our stuff. We still had to chase the cat who, I don't know what possessed this thing to be underneath the bed at this moment. It's probably because of all the noise and crapola. Our son woke up swinging out of sleep, out of a dead sleep because of the flashlight bulb. And the poor cop, when we finally explained to him what was going on, was so apologetic. And he was like, I'm so sorry that you guys are going through this. They were under one understanding that they were dealing with someone else at the time who had had warning, and we had no clue.
Right.
And that was the story. And needless to say, we got the house.
But actually, we didn't tell the whole vision of that. We talked about the feeling that you had, but we were very specific.
Yes, we were
You know,
very specific. With that particular visualization,
yes,
we said, let's describe it.
We need at least 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
We need at least 4 because we had our son, our daughter, our mom, and us. And, you know, we couldn't have the boy and the girl sharing. They're like teenagers.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to share a room with grandma.
Yeah.
So we needed 4 bedrooms. We didn't want to take a living room and turn it into a bedroom.
Correct.
We needed
and
4
then
bedrooms.
What the other thing we said was, oh, we've discovered that we don't like sharing a bathroom with the teenagers. It would, and now we have a boy and a girl, so it would be awesome if everybody had their own bathroom.
We said minimum 3 bathrooms is what we said.
Yes, but I said it'd be awesome, and it was the minimum of okay, this is what I'll settle for, and then it changed. The visualization changed to it would be awesome if everyone had their own bathroom.
And that's where specifics come in.
Down to where I said it'd be wonderful if the landlord would let me put in a doggy door so that the dog could learn to go in and out. And wouldn't you know it, that house had a doggy door. It came
with a doggy door. Our dog wouldn't use it, but it did come with the doggy door.
There's always that caveat, this or something better. So put that little rider, like, you know, little commas on the end. This is something better, but now let me daydream. And it's something that we learned, but we're going to talk about that after the break. Hey, guess what? We're going to go to break early. Diego, you ready? Yeah. We'll be back.
New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Namod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Heckerland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ogden, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Hi, guys. Norma was trying to sneak a little drink of water in there. Hey, welcome back to Caring for Caregivers. Hello there. Thank you so much for all that you do out in the world, taking care of everyone else. Now let us talk about stuff that can help you take care of you.
Yes.
So today, this is what we're talking about: visualization. That is the tool that we are using to take care of us, the caregiver. So when can we use this tool, babe? We were talking about that with your story about the house and how we got Irie House. That was such a great house. And then we bought this place, the Phoenix Dollhouse.
Well, you know, it comes in handy anytime you have a particular goal, or anything that you're creating, and you always have an expectation of what the outlook is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're using is the tool of visualization to form it in your mind. You know, because every creator, you know, the person that made this chair that I'm sitting in had an idea of what this chair was supposed to look like when they were carving the wood, or, you know, picking out the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was the visualization process that people use and may not even realize that that's what they're using, but it's used very, very commonly. And if we use it actively, meaning we intentionally set the intention and process of thinking about what it is that we want to achieve or want to have, then that's actually using the process and not being used by the process.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point.
What about you?
Well, I say we use the tool. Well, okay. For me, I'm on the floor as a nurse. And when the end of the shift is nigh and the body is screaming at me, go home, lay down. That's what my body is saying. And I'm not the only one going 2 more hours. I use visualization in reminding myself of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I love my patients, I really do, but it's not y'all. That's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because the job affords me the luxury of living the way that I do and caring for my bills and taking care of others, as well as allows me to be in a space where I can help others. The modality that is the hospital is very difficult on my body, but I love being a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one-on-one patients, if I could do that all day, oh my gosh, it would be so amazing. But it doesn't work that way. You can't just have you and your little nice lady and that's it. Unless you're doing private beauty.
So what you're saying is that you use visualization
To remind
to
me of why
remind
my
you
feet hurt.
of your why.
Yeah, of my why.
Okay.
Truth be told.
Of your
I
why.
do. That's when I use it the most. And it's not like a daydreaming kind of visualization either.
Again, it's with the intention and the emotion that Diego mentioned.
Yes, it's where I say, girl, you can do this. 2 more hours of the shift. We do this with each other. Hey, day 1, okay. Day 2, they're almost done. We encourage each other. Oh my gosh, it's my last shift. Because your body is hurting, especially right now with COVID and all that's going on and all that's swirling around us and who wants the money, who ain't got the money, who won't get paid the money, who is getting paid the money, all this stuff, who is being overworked under, and throw in the disease process of your patients on top of that. And now you have people who could turn at any moment and completely check out of this human experience, and now it's your fault.
So yeah, that's actually very powerful because if you have a why, and that's when you're doing anything, if you have that thought in your mind as to why you're doing something and visualize achieving that or making sure that's taken care of, then that gives you the driving force to do whatever difficult or challenging or whatever thing that's in front of you that, may not be your favorite thing to do, but that visualization of what it is you desire gets you there.
Diego, hunty,
yes.
Let me just tell you, when we created Transformation Vacation, it was that goal right there saying, I am in Jamaica. I am going to be sitting by the ocean. My hair will be rustled by the wind, and I will feel healed by that island. And I wanted to do it with friends. And that goal stayed in my mind. All these extra hours I'm working, all the stuff that I'm doing. My goal, I'm gonna take it. I tell my physical form, you can do this. You got this. You're going on vacation soon. We all do it to ourselves.
That was a very good example of our visualization and work and process. Because we started talking about this transformation vacation thing a few years ago.
Oh man,
this wasn't anything we just popped up and say, "Hey, let's go to Jamaica. Anybody want to come?"
Wayne.
It was a lot of visualizing, a lot of, and this is where I was going to say that I use it too, when I'm doing my affirmations. My affirmations started when I took this class with the Centers for Spiritual Living, and we had to say this certain affirmation 100 times a day, and it was just basically to get us in the habit of saying the affirmations. Didn't matter really what it was, but when the class was over, and what we did was every time we saw double digits, whether it was riding down the road and saw 55, saw on the time on the clock it's at 3:33 or 10:10, we would say, and we created our own affirmation. I love my life, I love my wife, and we would say that.
I love my house, I love my spouse. We've added that one because we've been loving on our house.
I love my family and friends to the end. But you can make your affirmation whatever it is that you want. But when you say it, you not only just have to feel it, you have to see it and know it. When I say that, every time I say I love my life, I love my wife, I see you. I see the wholeness of you. I see the happiness of you.
Thank you.
And I think, because people say, you guys have been together 15, 16, however many years y'all have been together. How do you still make it fun? How do you make it work? How do you
She's lots of
still
fun.
show the love? And I think the affirmations and the visualization of your happiness has helped in that process. So, and again, the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
The emotion is the driving force.
Hmm. That's how the law of attraction works. And believe thou me, that is the secret. I know a lot of y'all
Heard about
found
it, even if
New
you don't
Thought
know.
because of the secret. I don't know. That's how I found New Thought Community. The secret started me on my journey because I loved Oprah and I would watch Oprah, and Oprah said, this movie is the thing. And I thought, okay. And so I watched it, and then I said, you know what? There's got to be something to do with this. Let me try it. And I started it with my glasses. No, I started with my
Your
eye
eye
color.
color.
I said, okay, let me, I'm going to choose something so crazy and out of the box. I'm going to start seeing my eye color as not black anymore, but actually medium brown. I wanted lighter eyes. And so every time I looked in the mirror, I said, oh, look, they're getting lighter and lighter. Until eventually they weren't raven black anymore.
They got lighter.
They did get lighter. And then I did it again with glasses because they kept sliding down. I said, I just don't want to deal with glasses anymore. I want them gone. And I just said, I'm seeing clearer and clearer every day.
And this was in the early 30s when we first got together, because you ended up not wearing glasses for probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh, man, Diego. I totally would. Yeah, I would be so happy to train with him too, with Michael Beckwith. So it's that kind of thing that when you are doing the affirmations, when you are feeling the feeling, sometimes I try to do the affirmation and I try to feel the feeling and I try to do the visualization. Like when my body is hurting, it's very difficult to say, I'm happy, healthy, and whole when the pain is ripping through your spine. You feel like it's hard to get the feeling. So I know for me, I can't get my head to get to that feeling. That's when I usually have to grab a different tool out of my tool belt until I can get my head to follow suit. And that's usually, for me, I use the tool of God's everywhere, which means that I am part of the perfection of God. And that can usually get it to ease a little bit. And then, of course, Reiki. I do Reiki.
It's funny that you mentioned Reiki, because I was just thinking while you were talking that that's another tool. That
yes, we're going to talk about Reiki. But today we're talking about visualization and how awesome it is.
But when I'm doing the Reiki, I visualize that person in their illness, the wholeness. That's I never made the connection until you just said that. Yeah.
Isn't that great? We use it all the time. All the time.
Exactly.
You know when else we use it?
When?
Daydreaming. Daydreaming.
That's a little more loose.
Yeah. Daydreaming. Someday I'm going to be president of the United States. Someday I'm going to own my own business. Someday I'm going to meet the man I'm going to marry. Whatever it is that you daydreamed about when you were young and was told that it's a waste of time.
And
that's your affirmations with power. Daydreams come and they pack a lot of feeling punch behind them. So when somebody wants of your time, like if you don't have time to sit and daydream anymore, carve out the time to just allow your body and your mind to relax and just wander and just dream. Manipulation.
Question though, when you were saying about daydreaming and people tell you that it's not, would you suggest, if I'm if I'm visualizing something, sharing it with others? Because a lot of times that's where a lot of dreams and things get knocked out. They get
squished.
Yes, because of other people's poo-pooing on your ideas and your dreams and your
thoughts and ideas. Their logical brain's going to kick in and tell you it's not possible, whatever it is.
Do you think it's a good idea to share it, or just keep it yourself? And because sometimes the more you talk about things, the more real it becomes.
Yes. Yes, talking about it. Definitely. That's a tool, talking about it. But the visualization that I'm talking about right now is
Mhm.
personal. It's inside. It's all in here. You're not sharing it with anyone. You're not, um, after you have done the practice, then you can then share it with somebody. Hey, I visualized today, or help me visualize this thing because I'm calling this to us. I'm doing a different kind of energetically calling that to me. With using the law of attraction, plugging into that law, I'm
Mhm.
calling this to our experience, is what I love to say. Then the person can catch the dream when you start to speak of it and say it out loud. But you still have to have the visualization first.
And definitely at that
Inside.
point, once you've made it a firm desire for
Mm.
yourself, then it doesn't really matter what people say because
It
you've made
doesn't,
it.
but you
You've
know
done all
what? We
the
let
work.
people talk us out of it. We let people talk us out of it because their logical brain is going to kick in and say, this is impossible. With the tools that you have available to you right now, this is impossible. But all things are possible in divine source.
Yes.
Everything is possible. So why not just let yourself be Spider-Man? Because that's what our son wanted to be when he was little. He was going to be Spider-Man. That was his daydream. And let me tell you, this child climbed up the door jamb and was half hanging, touching the ceiling. Look, I'm Spider-Man.
And this was at age like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we said, okay. Because we didn't know such a thing as parkour existed at the time. Before that became a thing where kids were like jumping off of buildings and all kinds of crazy. But that's Spider-Man, if I ever seen.
There's just been so many different instances in our lives together. I mean, I don't know about before we got together, but I know since we've been together, there's just been so many different things that has come to fruition for us.
Oh.
Because we held a vision, we saw that we did the visualization, we did the prayer around it, we did put all the tools, throw on all at them, and visualization was always at the forefront of accomplishing some of the things that we've done.
Because it starts in divine mind. It starts in the creative process, starts here, up here, internally inside of you. And that's how spirit is speaking, divine mind. It comes through there. That's why you have to clear the clutter away.
Right.
The things that we want, no matter how crazy. Like, think about our daughter. No matter how, when this child came to me and said, I'm going to be a professional mermaid. She had to come out to us as a professional mermaid. And now she puts a tail on with others and do amazing work using that modality as professional mermaids.
Getting
It's
invited
powerful.
to national events and things.
Powerful work. They touch the inner child in people so deeply that sometimes therapists can't even get to.
And how many times is that not just a Lori, but many young girls have that as their dream, as the thing that they see themselves as becoming. And then that idea gets squashed and poo-pooed
Because
on
there's
by.
no such thing.
Yeah,
Or
you can't make a living doing that, or that's not a real
even
thing.
you tell a little child they don't exist. I remember that conversation. Well, we can't go visit Ariel. There was a whole conversation around this thing. And now I am biting myself because she met other mermaids and they've been hanging out. And look at that. And the child asked me, and I totally didn't even remember that there was a conversation around that. Isn't that something? So we have to be careful. Like, especially when a child is in that daydreaming mindset, that we don't poo-poo. We allow for creativity to get pulled through, because that's how new innovation comes to us, is through these young minds. But in the same token, we have to help pull them out of the daydream enough so that they can then show up in the physical world, as opposed to the future world or the.
There has to be balance.
There has to be balance. So if you are in the middle of surgery, for example, visualization of your dream house in Cabo is not the time to do that when you are the one holding the scalpel.
Please, I don't.
Just know that there are times and places for this, but sometimes just a very quick picture of what it is you're looking for. And when you do this kind of work by yourself, like before you go to bed, just allow yourself to just think, how amazing would it be if I was laying in, and close your eyes and just say where you are. This is where I would be. And this is what's going on around me. And this is, and not the how do I get to that point, but just that this is my desire. And start to just allow yourself to take a journey in your mind.
Because everything starts with a thought, and then that thought becomes an idea, and the idea becomes a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's
And then the
process.
entire universe does this. Click, click, click. This is what you, and then you start to see it around you.
Mhm.
And you start looking for it. And before you know it, your phoenix is rising.
Yes.
How awesome is that?
Because I remember it had to have been started like maybe 10 years ago. You always said, I want a house in Jamaica.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not moving to Jamaica. And you're like, no, I don't want to live there permanently. I just want to have a house that when I want to go to Jamaica, I have a house there. And I'm thinking, good luck with that. But I didn't poo-poo your idea.
Thank you.
I just, I'm like, as in Reverend Peggy says, we'll see how Spirit works that out.
And Spirit worked it out.
She has a house in
I have a
Jamaica.
house in Jamaica. Yep. The beauty is in the ashes. It's the ashes. That's where the magic is. The thing that kicked your butt into the ground and stomped on you. The very thing that stomped you to the ground. That is where the nugget is that will help you rise from all of that crapola. You don't have to stay in the story. You don't have to stay in the thing.
There's so many lessons in those ashes.
Yes.
There's so much growth material, and people just, use that instead of wallowing in it. When people use that, they can catapult themselves into their greater next to be much faster.
And I think of it like Wayne was saying, man, flame on. Thank you, Wayne. Yes, flame on. Because when I am really feeling down and I am like really in the pain of my story, and it's hard for me to step into an elevated place in my mind, I think of myself like that phoenix. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling that cold. Ooh, that really hurts. Ooh, okay, but now what am I doing? And I physically sometimes shake myself to say, okay, yeah, I'm rising. And it's the ashes that's going to propel me. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the civil rights movement started on his angriest day. Something propelled him. And sometimes it's anger that propels you into a different, I need to visualize something better and bigger for me and show up more for me. Yes. And sometimes, you guys, where can you find this tool? Let's talk about that. Where can you find the tool?
The tool of visualization. Well, you can.
Insight Timer is good. I like Insight Timer. That's an app.
I was gonna say you use that more than I do.
That you can do, yeah.
There's an app for everything.
There's an app for everything, but guided meditation is wonderful because that can get you out of your story in that moment and put you somewhere else. The guided meditation is wonderful for that.
YouTube has a lot of everything.
Oh man, YouTube has a plethora of all kinds of stuff to help you. They have music that you can listen to go through meditation. They have sound healing. They have all kinds of stuff on YouTube. Yeah.
You know what? Like Students for Spiritual Living, Ocala, we just had what she called it, we've been calling that vision boards, but she called it mind mapping or something like that. And it was a project where you take different pictures and words and what have you from magazines.
Come here and do it with us one day.
Yes.
Isn't that be cool?
And, it set the things that you think you've been wanting in your head and putting them out in front of you so you can actually see it. So it's the visualizing that you've been doing, making it real, so you can help make it faster.
Yeah. It's odd because sometimes we need the pictures. Some people are not visual people. So coming up with the picture in their head is hard. So vision boards are really good for that. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to bring Pat Felton on.
Yes, that was an amazing experience yesterday.
Amazing experience. And meetups, Facebook groups. social groups. People get together and do meditation. Yeah, that's always good. CSL Ocala has an amazing, wonderful way of doing services now. And the first Sundays of the month, our Sunday gathering will be spiritual practices.
Yes.
And we do spiritual practices like these together.
Not just talk about them, actually do them, put them in
actually do 'em.
practice.
But then you get practice. Yay. So I'm going to say that we are going to sign off for now. I'm
Yes.
feeling complete. Do you feel complete?
I think we've
and
covered
hopefully,
visioning pretty well.
yeah, visualizing.
Oh yeah, haven't done visioning yet.
So it's easy to get them
Eat 'em.
mixed up. But this one's very, very, the one that a lot of people think they're doing when they're visioning
Yeah.
is visualizing.
This one, it's you're more in control of your thoughts.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
you're
not waiting
driving
for
the
divine
bus.
download.
Yes, you're driving the bus.
Yeah.
You're
correct.
knowing what you
That's
want.
such a good, yeah. Which, that then says that if you have a certain dream, go to the place where that dream is. If it's a certain car, look that car up online.
Go test
See
drive
what
that
it looks
sucker.
like. Go test drive it so you can get the feeling really deep down into that way. When you sit down, you start doing your visualizing, you have a feeling to go with it.
Yes.
Do that. Go take a tour of that open house, of that house you want to buy or the house you want to own. Do it. Put yourselves in those situations and say, if I was a person who was doing this thing, like snorkeling in Jamaica. Diego, where's Jamaica? Diego had it up there for like a millisecond, and I want him to bring back the transformation vacation. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit.
Putting him on the
of it.
spot. Let's
I
see
know
how
we put
fast.
him-
Oh, he's quick.
He's so quick. Do we have a picture of that pool, Diego? I want to show people this pool. I want to help them with this.
Now this pool is, you can go right off the edge.
Into
Dive.
down steps into the water.
Okay,
and
Donna
snorkel.
took the steps. A lot of the people dove off that cliff
Yes.
into the ocean.
And you can go snorkeling. But the wonderful thing, and this is what I want you to visualize with me, is people together in that pool. The pool is fed by the ocean and it gets pumped through every few days. I want to say 2 or 3 days. They pump in fresh ocean water.
And you
it
can see little
splashes
fishies
off.
floating around in there. And
Yes,
little
little crabs
and
and stuff. It's really quite wonderful. I encourage you that if you want to join us the last week of October of this year at Tingalea's in Jamaica, we have the complete resort to ourselves. It's nothing but our group there. We don't share the space with anyone else. This very heart-opening experience, just connecting to the land and the people and the food. Oh my goodness, we hire a chef. We take care of you from the moment you touch down. The only thing you have to pay for is your space, and then you pay for your
air flight to get
your
there.
flight,
and your
people
COVID
are coming
test,
from
because there's
different
always
places.
COVID tests.
It is incredible. And yes, we live in a world that has a challenge we call COVID. And just like we have to take our shoes off now because there was a challenge, now we have this extra annoyance that we have to deal with. But it is so worth it. And it's nice. It actually was very nice to know that everybody on the resort was COVID tested and was all negative. So we could
Yes.
walk very freely without masks and feel, safe. So
And
that
when we
was
left the
nice.
resort and went into the town, of course, we wore a mask. But, the resort was just amazing. We got to fully enjoy and appreciate.
There's one
the
side that's
officials.
garden side and one side that's ocean side. So when
One
you're on
side that
garden,
looks like this picture behind us.
yes, this is Leaf of Life. This picture was taken. They have a working garden there that's like a farm. It's like an acre of nothing but trees and veggies and insane. It was just incredible. And the people are just so kind and amazing. And you get to experience Jamaica in all its glory, and be a part of our family. So it's wonderful. I hope I get to see you guys there and, put your deposit in. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to join us.
We already have one repeat customer.
Yeah.
One that went with us last time has already signed up to go back this time. So that
Mhm.
speaks volumes.
Yes. And we're also going to be coming up with a retreat here in Ocala, Florida, here at Phoenix Dollhouse, where people get to come hang out with us here at Phoenix and enjoy the yumminess that is this community. So I invite you to keep that in mind. And yeah, I will definitely see you guys. And John Stringer is our guest again this year as a musician for Tingaleas and the Jamaica trip. So he has decided to come back with us one more again.
Yes.
So we're going to see how the journey unfolds for all of us. But it was incredible. So you definitely want to make it for that.
Yeah. I'm not going to miss it.
I'm not missing it either. I'm going to be there. Child, I already got my room. Shoot. It sounds like Joshua, you coming, right? And Diego, y'all coming?
I think Josh is bringing his whole family.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
Which doesn't involve kids. So, you know, if your
Yes,
whole family
yes.
involves kids, no kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We just can't with the children right now because of COVID. I'm just not comfortable having that on our responsibility list yet. So thank you so much for understanding. And we will see you next week where we are always caring for caregivers, because without us, the vulnerable are not cared for, and those people really need it. And a special shout out tonight to two of my dear friends, one who is currently grieving her mom, who had made her transition, and the anniversary of that painful experience is upon us. And I know she's going through it. So I just want to say, I love you so much. I know that this is difficult, but you're doing a beautiful job. And I'm inspired by you every day, the way you are handling this. And another who is dealing with an aging parent as well. And she is being called to the batting arena, and she is knocking it out of the park. And I'm just so proud to call them both my friends. And ladies, you know who you are. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Take care of yourself. Deuces.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Close my eyes, I open my heart, I'll take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling us to rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me.